Testing one, two, three. All right. There you go. Starting early. How you guys doing? Can you all hear me? Hopefully you can hear everything I'm saying. Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? All right, perfect. Jeez. Chat's so slow. Okay, so welcome to SEO This Week, episode 180. As you can see, we are a professional organization here. Here's a link if you want to check out the post itself and get all the links for the news that we're going to talk about. It's digitaleer.com /SEO this week /episode 180. Decent set of stories, 4 news stories today, and 4 tools that I think you guys will appreciate. I know that I thought the tools were actually kind of cool. There was a fifth, but I'm playing with it right now, so I don't know if I want to, say, hey, let's recommend it or what. But we're gonna go with the 4 that we got. As you can see, I have a new chat integration now. So everyone that's on Facebook, if you chat in the Facebook, you leave a comment in there, I'll see it through Restream. And the same goes with the folks on Pinterest. So now everyone's covered: YouTube, Facebook, and Pinterest. So we'll see how it goes. It's the first time I've actually pushed this through and tried it out. So we'll see how it goes out. With that being said, how about we jump right on into the news stuff, huh? As I said, 4 stories. First is the new quality rater guidelines are out. The content that I actually linked to for you, they go by um, line by line. We appreciate people who do this, but they go line by line and see what changes were made to the quality rater guidelines, which I found incredibly helpful. And one of the changes that they're making is actually adding a change log to it. So that's even more useful. I don't know about you guys, but once a year, I have it. I print that thing out and just kind of go through it line by line and see if I can find some opportunities and stuff to add to um, my processes in order to rank the pages a little bit higher. And I think that's helpful to go through there and do that and just read that. So if you want to, my recommendation is do kind of the same thing. As they updated. I want to say just based off of patterns, right? They're updating it roughly every quarter, not every quarter, every half a year. So print it out once during the year, get the change, and then apply that the rest of the way. So it seems like it's doing good. Next is the Google and their representatives have finally come out and said, not mobile first, it's actually mobile only. In regards to the whole mobile first indexing. They say that they're only crawling now, and they're only going to crawl, especially I'm assuming March 21st is when it's like officially kicked in. Will be the only crawling the mobile version. If you're using modern day web browser or website technology, etc., you probably should already be on a responsive, which kind of makes mobile only like, yeah, so you know what I mean? As long as what's the biggest deal is if you have mobile only content and then desktop only content, and those two differences, and your desktop only content stuff never gets indexed and it's never counted, versus what your stuff in the mobile version of the site is, and that's actually counted. So that's why we care about this mobile only concept. Is if you are a website owner, a business owner, or an SEO, and you come across a website that's using kind of old, outdated technology, no longer, it's not responsive, they have a mobile version, etc. It's a good selling point, and it's time, business owners. Frankly, it's time to update your website, and update the technologies behind it. Another article on there is a 15 SEO mistakes. It's coming from the perspective of a web developer, which is really cool. It's kind of I like hearing their perspectives on things, especially based off of they have their conversations with their SEOs and stuff they learn on their own in their SEO applications and stuff. So understanding that and understanding your web devs and where they're coming from an SEO perspective is actually pretty good. So I would check that one out. And then finally, it's a post on how to write blog posts fast. I know there's a lot of people out there that are still talking about write a piece of content a day, write high quality content, and your fans will love you and link to you. That stuff. I swear to Jesus, just like the whole SEO is dead line, the content is king line is never going to go away, and people are going to tell you to publish and publish and publish and publish and publish. So I'm not into that. I kind of believe that you should publish if you're writing and your process is taking you a month to write one nice high quality piece of content, then that's your writing frequency is a month. But if you want to learn how to write a whole lot faster, then there's a blog post in there to kind of help you out and some tips and tricks to pull that off. Me, 2,000 word article based off of my writing process is usually taking me 3 or 4 days to get through a day to write it because I like writing because I can hammer something out in a day, especially if I have outline, and then 2 to 3 days to optimize it. You'll see this process that I go through that I'm getting ready to show you guys here later that it just I just take 2 to 3 days to go through it just because I'm tired of looking at a computer, to be all honest at that point. Let's see. Tools. The four tools that I found, two are from Google. One is Google Podcast. They kind of updated their um, syndication of podcasts and how that all goes, etc. And they made this unique platform just for Google Podcast. They announced it the other day. And when I say the other day, it's because I don't remember the exact day. Yeah, in a Search 2020 video about this, and basically you go to this website, you pop in your name of your podcast, and if Google knows about it, it's there. I did not try it with SEO this week yet because I'm not stripping the audios and redoing and uploading the podcast yet. Episode 180 is going to be the first one, just kind of symbolic, doing a 180. You know what I mean? And bringing the Stitch. What do I got? Stitch, not Stitch. Spotify, Apple, and then Google. I'm not even sure if I even sent it to Google in the first place, so we'll see if I did that. But that'd be pretty. That's going to be interesting, and I'll just leverage that Google Podcast and learn more about that, and just get some more exposure for the show. The second tool from Google is that Google Journalists. It is it's built as a tool to help journalists write, and inside of there, there's some data collection, data analysis, and some other features that you can push together and it'll help you essentially write a story. So if you're in one of those kind of fields that collects a lot of information and stuff, or if you're feeling adventurous, just go in there and make up a whole bunch of information and then push the magic button. And then supposedly the way it works is the AI helps you create your story. And there's like 9 tools inside of that one set of Google Journalists. So I would check that out. It was pretty interesting. Next one, I wrote keywords, and what that tool in there does is you create a scenario. Like you'll see, we're on our personal injury attorney, Phoenix, right? So how would you find a personal injury attorney, or what were the keywords that you would type in to answer this question? And you create a survey in this tool, and at the end of it, what it spits out for you is your keyword research from your audience perspective, which I think is kind of awesome. So you're crowdsourcing your keyword research. I would caution you, if you're going to use it, like, reach out to your audience, find out what they would use to find that keyword, get the answers, and then narrow that down and do some more work, right? But it's a good way to get your broad keywords out there. It's a good thing to give to potential clients or your boss, in regards to if you're having this argument of why you're targeting X, Y, and Z when he or she thinks you should be targeting A, B, and C. You give them this crowdsourced thing. Your own audience said that we should be targeting X, Y, and Z. I don't know what else to tell you. So that would be a really cool use for that. And then finally, with my ever continuing love of Data Studio, there's a Data Studio report in there. Just kind of learn about referrals and all that, and kind of how to, and some more ways to pluck that information out of Google Analytics. Which, if you're like me, kind of have a love hate relationship with that. There's all kinds of great information, but there's so much button mashing going on. At what point do you want to continue that mess? So, again, those are the stories. You find those on digitaleer.com /SEO episode 180. If you're not, I think the only ones that don't get to see it are the Periscope people. So, that's for the benefit of you. Everyone else, just click the description in Facebook or YouTube and it'll pop, take you right there. So I appreciate all of you. People like Jay McKinley, Adrian Diaz, our tutor, Vladimir. Welcome back, Vladimir. Brian, Vinay. Vinay's always here. Appreciate you guys. And with that, I want to get into the content writing stuff. And in order to do that and transition over to that a little bit, I want to remind you where we're at in our audit. And this one, last we first started off, we just did a high level overview, looked at some tool results and stuff like that, and just kind of see what the hell is going on with the website from a technical standpoint. And I quote technical because really at the end of the day, we're just talking about crawl rates and stuff like that, right? We looked a little bit at the links, site structure, using the visualizations in Sitebulb and Screaming Frog. Indexability, we kind of addressed that, just kind of glazed over it because they didn't seem to have any indexing issues. So that leaves us with the on-page stuff. And because it's local, obviously Phoenix personal injury attorney or lawyer is our keyword because it's local. Kind of duplicate content doesn't really apply here. Technically, and well, let me explain why I think duplicate content doesn't apply. Let's say you're a roofer. You're a roofer that operates in 5 cities. There's only so much or so many ways that you can talk about being a roofer and the services you offer. So Google understands, and the algorithm is written to understand in local, you're only going to write that you're a roofer and that you provide services, installation, repair, um, replacement, and what else? I don't know, gutters and we'll go with 4. So they know you're only going to do those things, and they know your business is only going to do those things, and you're providing the same business service in every one of the cities you want. So it's reasonable to expect that a local business who's targeting Phoenix, Tempe, Tucson, and Mesa is going to write essentially the same piece of content on their local landing page for Phoenix, Tempe, Tucson, and Mesa. So the fear of Google duplicate content in our case doesn't really matter unless someone goes out and copies your website 10, 15, 20 times and throws that up. And now you have duplicate content on the internet. So, in this case, we can ignore that whole thing together and kind of alleviate the fears of the site owner that they have a duplicate content issue. So that leaves us with on page, and we're looking at on page from a content perspective. And that means not so much H1s, H2s, H3s, and all that madness. Well, you can take them into consideration at this time. I just want to talk about the content. keep this recording because I'm never going to teach this again for free. And most likely, and I may answer questions from bits and pieces of it, but I'm never going to teach this whole process for free. I continue to refine this process, and it's just working. It's like working like gangbusters. So if you want it, watch this episode and take good notes. So here we go. First thing you do is go to the website where you're talking about, and what you're going to do is you're going to look at the content and kind of say, what does the competition have? Now, you can do this in a couple of ways. You can pop this into Page Optimizer Pro, Surfer, Quora, whatever your Quora Lite, whatever your fancy is. All of them will actually give you a decent grade score based off of what the page is got going on. In my case, I use Phrase. So in Phrase, we are going to create what is called a content brief. If you were smart enough, or lucky enough, or I don't know, addicted enough to get a lifetime license while this was in AppSumo, then dope. But if you missed out on that, it's actually really worth the monthly price. If they didn't have the AppSumo thing, I'd still be paying the monthly. It's just all I can say. So we're gonna drop that in here, and we're gonna bust this out. Now, if I didn't have a piece of content at all, then this is where I would start as well, because it's doing my market research for me. See that? It's pushing all this information, it's gathering all this stuff. It's going to, I did the last count as top 20 websites, and just kind of pulling out the information, and it got it. It's not like a Mentorprise. It's not like a Article Forge or any of that, or a SEO content machine. It's going there and getting snippets and stuff for the purposes of you to help you do your research. Now you can do one of two things. You can open this up and hit the summaries and all these little things, and you get some sections and topics and all this stuff and add it in there. Or you can go the lazy route and just push this button right here and get your page brief. And you can actually give this to your writers. Here's how many words I want. And then the sources is messed up there. How many words I want. Here's some sources where you can find some more information about it. Here are some of the topics. IE is what a lot of people will call them, would be in entities, but they're really topics. And then here's some questions you can answer, and this is the different sections. You're talking about sections. Think about it this way. These are your headings. These are your H tags. Okay, so if you really want to think about it, that's going to be your H tags. Now, want to clean this up a little bit and make sure there's nothing in there that's inappropriate for what you're talking about. Personal injury, Phoenix, personal injury, case review. I wouldn't want that one. Delete it. Personal injuries. Those are good. Injury. Product liability injury. That's product liability. We're talking about personal injury, so we're gonna go there. And that is kind of a little related, but I want to stick really on the button. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things for my writers. Here's some resources. Here's some links. Boom, Bob your uncle. Content brief. Send this off to your favorite writing team and say, write my shit, yo. And you'll be you're gonna get something back. We're gonna pretend that we got this back. All right, so I'm gonna import from that URL the content. Oh, process the URL. There's our stuff. There you go. That's what we got back. And it's gonna bring you to that topic screen. And you can see here there's some ambers and there's greens and there's some reds. And this is how much they're recommending it, you to read it. And this is how much it was. Actually, they flipped that around again. How much you are mentioning it and how much they recommend you mention it. And then there's this topic score right here, 48. In phrase, I go to 100. So you're just going to keep writing and keep adding. You're going to keep going until you get to 100. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to fill it in, and we're not even going to care about readability at this point, just because I want to show you the process. Okay. So let's go. We want to add injury lawyers. I'm going to drop that in there. Find a successful injury. Find successful. What's this? Find successful injury lawyers. Damn you. It's going to make me type it. Injury lawyers. And I need it 3 times. And you saw how it changed that? It's updating automatically in my browser. When they first did that, it didn't work really good. But they fixed it. So our injury. Here you go. Lawyers may be able to assist you with your creditors. You see the scores going up. 50 Phoenix personal injury lawyers. And there you go. And I still got personal injury. So let's clean out. Actually, it says there, and I have to mention it more. So let's do this. And I kind of want to double dip here. Oh, there's 8. And it says we're over. We might be over. So I'm good. But the red is really cool. All right. Let's see. Death. We need to talk about death. Let's see. Personal injury. Sit down. You go with the offer. Let's usually talk more on the table. Discuss outcomes. Settle. For injury. So there's death. Better sense of a law firm. We regret, regardless of the just obligations, hard work, extra mile, blah blah blah. Find ways handling your death or injury claim, and there's wrongful death. So we got that in there. Where's that other death? There we go. Wrongful death. There we go. Personal injury claim. So go, because we know it's using it a lot, right? Injury. Attorneys, lawyers, personal injury. Claim lawyer. Personal injury. Claim lawyers. And personal injury. Claim lawyer. Claim attorneys. There we go. So we need property damage in here. Let's see. Personal. That we need property. There's no use in there. Demand payment for demand. Create a demand for payment covering property damage and medical bills. Do that for part. Blah blah blah. Where are we at now? So we're at 53. Oh, go claim. I'm gonna get rid of that. A couple of those, so I get personal injury. It's injury lawyers is what I want. Injury attorneys. Where is? I know there was another injury attorney in here that I changed. There you go. So that's covered. Free consultation. Complete our online free consultation form. Discussing this medical treatment does not include your. This does not only include losses to date, but future expenses such as continuing education, treatment, and lost wages. So we got that. 56. Still going. This little line here. I don't know if you guys see that. That's the average of what everyone else is doing. So I go for 100, but I think you guys get the point. And I'm not going to go anymore just because time. All right. So next thing you want to do, copy this out. You want to keep this copy and then go over to cognitive SEO. And then we're going to be talking about personal injury attorney Phoenix. Did I already write this one? Nope. Personal injury attorney Phoenix. United States. Analyze. And I have to go back because it's a different word. All right. So one note: when you run this inside of cognitive, if you're writing, for example, like I often do, and then come back, all this stuff that you're going to see is gone. So I recommend that you download it now. All of these are your anchor text, and they could be knows about in your schema and stuff. So what I like to do is just bust open the filter, relevancy, fours and fives, done, and then I get all of those. And then you can just go and let's do search volume. Done. Nope. Don't do that. Search volumes of 0 and 10. So those numbers might be a little bit off. But you can go through and export all, and now you save that, and that's your anchor text for your link building, and your knows about in your schema. There's entity stuff in there you can use in your schema at the same time, so you want to make sure you keep all that. And just look at this page and kind of go, where do I have to shoot for? Looks like a 98 is the top, which sucks because it's really hard to get a 98. So 94, 96, 98, and then some 80s. So these three are really our competition. That's who we want to beat. Ultimately, that means we got to have a really good piece of content coming out of here. Click on the content editor, and we're going to open it up and just go ahead and do our thing. That doesn't look right, so I'm going to copy this again. Drop it in here. And you see that it's upside down. It's one of the things that absolutely pisses me off about this tool. And all my formatting is gone. If you like me and you like cognitive, jump on here and ask them to fix that stupid paste thing. That's dumb that in this day and age you gotta redo that madness. But here's all my writing. And I needed to have the formatting because I want to know about paragraph length and sentences. So I'm going to go ahead and put it all back. I apologize. You got to pain through that. Wrongful death. How many? Regardless. There it is. There's one. One, two, three, 4, 5. And call this today. All right. It looks like pretty damn close. Let me break this up just a little bit more. What I want to do, this is important. So what I want to do is add this here. This is here and here. That's a long sentence. Long sentence. And the opening paragraph I like long anyway. So we're going to leave that. There you go. Yeah, changing. Kyle mentioned you can change the upside down and cognitive. It's this stupid paste as text, and then as you saw, it rips out. More often than not, it rips out all your styling. So if you take the time to actually put your headings and footers and stuff, headers and etc. and bolds into phrase when you copy it over and put it in here, it jacks it all up. I emailed them and they said, "Well, that's why we made this tool," and I think that's just stupid and lazy. But I'm not a developer, so what the hell do I know? Maybe it is that hard. So. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go through here, and I like to focus on just these two columns right here. You have these 86 focus words. That is very, very important. You want that number to be as high as you can, and because you can actually, using that and the list that you pulled from the keyword research, you can actually rank for more than one term. And you do that by actually putting the term in here, putting the term in your schema, and then anchor text manipulation, and that'll all, there's your multiple rankings, right? And you don't even have to always rank for these other topic or link for these other topics because they're in there, and you have linking power for your primaries. All that stuff just carries up, and it's all a multiple benefit. So I like to get this number as high as we can. Bear in mind, if I'm only working with a small piece of content, then obviously it's going to be a little bit harder. As you remember, what do we need? Like 2,000 words or something like that? 1,500? Not even sure. Um, in this case, we want to, we're going to work with what we got and kind of fill it in. So, car accident, we want to have that in here. So, basically, what you do is go through this here and then read through this list and add terms that fit with what your content is. Um, Keeping every sentence, I this sentence needs to have something from over here in it. This sentence needs to have something from over here. This sentence needs to have something from over here. You get where I'm going. Every sentence has to have a word that's being used from over here uh, by the time you're done, and that's for get the ranking boost and for the relevancy of the score. In this case, I just kind of chasing the score. You hear me all the time. Don't chase scores with the page speed. In this case, chase scores with your content. Okay. All right. So let's see. Do I need an attorney after a car accident? In this case, this lawyer has a page for car accident, so there's also an internal linking opportunity for them, and I'm good to go. As you go, you can do one and then just watch the scores go up. I'm just going to go through and do a bunch of it, some more. You know whether an insurance company treat you fairly without a lawyer. Without will not treat you. Want to know is whether without a lawyer or legal team. And if they hire a Phoenix attorney and pay the legal team fees or pay a legal there's legal representation. You see it on the list. Representation fee and scores can go. Okay. Keep going. Next sentence. That one's already got one. Undoubtedly, these large corporations treat injury victims with a double standard. Let's see. Swimming pool injury accident. Victims, double standard, one level of compensation for those who do not have attorney or do not have a attorney. We need attorney injury accident. Do not have an injury accident attorney injury accident Phoenix. Injury accident in Phoenix. We're gonna get that one. Score 70. Clean out our list some more. I'm gonna do one more paragraph. Read through information on our site to gain better sense of what our law firm does for each and every client we represent to get compensated to get rightfully compensated for your injury. Compensated for your injury. All right, so you kind of get the point there. So now we have each sentence has a topic in it, and you go right down the line. And as you go, you just hit, and if you want to, just knock out a whole bunch of them, and then get the score up. You'll find that eventually, as you keep adding these more and more, the score goes up less and less. When it starts doing that, you jump over here, and it tells you need to add a little bit more of these in here. Doing those two combined, you're going to raise this focus keywords number up and ultimately your score up, which is the point of that. Question for Connor is: what about all adding those all into FAQ and then running through phrase again to see how they affected the score? That's not exactly what we're trying to do. You can game this system any way you want, but garbage in, garbage out. I'm trying to teach you how to write good content that's going to rank, not junk that you can run off and just create an FAQ page about. And the FAQ page is good, and you want to have those. And I'll show you an example of how I implemented this, where you can have FAQ section or for FAQ schema inside of your content, and then boost up the score here in a second. But that's completely different from what I'm trying to show you right here. I'm trying to show you how to actually write good content that the user is going to like and the search engine is going to absolutely love all at the same time. So you can get off of the whole content is king crap, right? So, uh, we're gonna do now is just pretend that we've actually reached our score of 98, and this one is a target of 94. And my guess is, based off of my experiences, you're probably gonna get to 94, 96, and then you're gonna just be done with it. You're gonna be at enough. So what you want to do now is copy this. You're going to drop this into Microsoft Word, or if you have a Grammarly account, drop it straight into your Grammarly account. I have the app plugged into Word, and I save all the content that I'm writing anyway, in case I need it for a template or for future edits or whatever. And you're going to open it up, drop it into here. And we're going to turn on our Grammarly app. Again, if you have Grammarly, you got Word, just do the integration. If you don't have Grammarly, just drop it into the thing that you want, the actual online editor, and then you'll be good to go. All right. And then what I like to do is there's a score that'll show up right here. Hopefully you guys can kind of see it. It's a 95, so it's actually pretty good right now because I haven't written it. Someone else did, but you can see there's a lot of spacing and all that stuff, so we can clean up some of that madness with actually some enters. Those are new lines, right? So clean out some of that. But I just go down the line. Correctness, I'll knock all of those out, and then I'll do clarity and I'll knock all of those out. And I don't know if this is going to trigger it, but there's a cool feature in here where it actually help you rewrite there it is right there. It'll help you and give you a new set of words or a new way to write your sentence. So the AI that Grammarly is putting in there is actually stepping up, and then it's doing a whole lot better. As more and more users use this, I've noticed that the quality of these paragraphs that are coming out of here, actually sentences that are coming out of here, are way better. So keep using that, and I think it'll be you. I think you'll appreciate it. Just make sure that you read it first, and it hits the intent of what you're doing, because sometimes it can be a little bit off and you have to turn it down. So I think every document that I've written to this point, I've had to stop writing it, or stop doing this like maybe once or twice during the course of that. But for the most part, they're always spot on. I go for like a 98 in here, and now my piece of content is ready to go. Recent one that I did today is actually not that one. Come on. Close that. Is this one? I don't need that because I'm not actually writing it. I wrote it out today. Well, I finished it today, added my headers and stuff, and then I put it all on the site so you can see here in Grammarly. I got a score. You probably make me a liar. 99. So, and then I was done. And you see it. I found some more things to go through. If I wanted to, I can redo that and put it all back up. But I got it all on the site at this point, so I'm not going to do that. Let's look at the page itself. And you can tell from my keyword selection, I don't anticipate ranking this anytime soon. And this is the content that is written out. And I just threw that out there. So I still have to do images and stuff. To Connor's point about FAQs, that's where let's say I have 3,000 words to write, and I can intelligently, or my writers can intelligently put together 2,500, and I need another 500 words. That's where the FAQ stuff comes in, and I put it below my call to action. You could put it in tabs if you want, or don't. Typically, for these pieces of content, I have not been doing it. For my city pages, I actually have all this stuff in tabs. And then you just drop in your FAQ schema for these particular things to you. This is a stupid hard keyword that, again, I'm not gonna rank for it anytime soon, nor am I going to invest the money into it, because I know from ranking for this keyword, SEO company, professional SEO agency, top SEOs, and well over 300 keyword city SEO rankings. That I know that these bring dog shit for leads. You spend all this money to rank for this, and at the end of the day, it's kind of an ego thing. So but I need this here, and perhaps if you're slick or been paying attention to anything that I do, you know exactly why this piece of content exists, and maybe the little pointy arrow is giving you a clue. So I'm going and building this silo of my website based off of really stupid hard words, and then I can rank all the really easy ones because as I build this silo, this entire website siloed out, it actually kind of boosts everything up together, and I can rank for the ones that I know, the keywords that I know are going to generate me leads. And unfortunately, this one ain't. You put a whole bunch of money ranking for SEO expert SEO company, and I listed all those other ones off. I had well over 700 pages on over the top SEO ranking for pretty much every digital marketing and city SEO that we could think of. If not, then the top three, number one. So, and I can tell you right now that they're dog shit for leads. So don't waste your time doing that unless you're just building up a portfolio to say this is what I can do. And if you're going to build that what I can do portfolio, don't go for this type of keyword. I mean, unless you have a long term plan, and like me, you know that this and this are driving together as I build authority and trust, etc. And I associate these two words together. And when I go into Google and I am looking to associate myself and my content, I want to bring in some more information about SEO, etc. So let's look here in the images, Digitaleer SEO. I'm looking for some other things. I'd like to see SEO expert pop in here. I'd like to see um, what else? SEO company maybe, owner, that kind of thing. And I'm just really, that's kind of the end play for this. Okay, but you guys now have seen my content writing process. I am actually going over one more section, and I really don't want you guys to miss out on it. And so let's do this. This is the latest tool that's come to my attention for content editing. It is I want to. What I'll do is I'll call it all right because I'm still learning some of the metrics and stuff that go along with it. But when I applied it to a keyword, I actually did pretty good. I used it for keyword analysis, and my rankings for that term, as you know is actually pretty hard. And I popped into the mid 30s keyword analysis service. I was in actually the teens. So, oh come on. Let that go. Now, if you've not used these or been exposed to these before, it's the same thing. They're using NLP API from Google and Dixon Jones. He said he's got his own analysis tool to kind of plug into this at the same time. And it creates what is the knowledge graph. So and it's not the knowledge graph you see in a search where you search for a brand name and you see that stuff in the site. It's actually a graph of outlining the topics that your website is real about, or what Google is reporting that your website is about. And there's a system in here, or he's got a system that he taught in a blog post where you can actually compare your knowledge graph to your competitions and see where you're lacking, and then fill that in with new pieces of content. So you're not just writing willy nilly, you have a specific purpose. And the same thing applies when you're actually doing and using the content editor on his tool as well. And what it'll do is go and analyze the pages that are already ranking, and then bust out essentially a knowledge graph. In our case, it comes out as a list of things that you need to be talking about in your content. It tells you whether you've used it or not, and then you can go to count on it. So what I want to let me show you now. That's done. We're going to drop our piece of content here in the editor, and there's the. I don't need that. I don't need that either. You see that their copy paste works just fine. And you have to have an H1 tag in here. So just drop that in there and don't worry about the rest of them. You can do that in your Word document later. Click save and then update the analysis. And this part's really fast. It's a lot faster than before. And then you see we come in here with the 53. It's not too that far off the 71. So when we get this to 94, we actually kind of probably come in here in the 70s and 80s. But you see, it goes through and you find some more things that it says that you need to add. So this says Arizona is not used. I'm going to drop it in there. It says experience is not used. We're going to drop it in there. Truck is not used. Motorcycle accident, vehicle accidents, and private property. So what I did is I pushed that add button and they're all down here now. Now, obviously you're going to want to do this a little bit more smarter and just put it into your content, right? But for the purpose of this example, that's what I did. I click save and hit the update analysis, and you're going to see that this should actually go up some because I added all those things. Saving. Oh, please wait. Rather than staring at. Oh, there he goes. All right. See, so it went up a little bit, like probably barely any. I don't even remember what the score was before. It's probably the same. But you essentially you just want to keep doing it. And let's see, private property. I thought we already covered that. Arizona. Yeah, we added that in there. Let's go with the editor again. It added it again. Save the text. All right, so this is one of the frustrations that I'm having with this tool is just because I know that it's doing word counting, but it's pretending like it's smart and it's not. So let's go to. I'm just going to drop this in the beginning of my questions. Save text. Still 53. So it's gonna keep making us go through and you add more words and stuff. And if you notice here, what did we do? We did private, right? Private and Arizona. So there's Arizona. Now Liv's finally seen Arizona. We knew it was in the content before, but now it's got to be in the sentence. And what I think is happening, and Dixon wouldn't really let the cat out of the bag, is it's actually doing some context stuff. So if you click on this, you'll see how the context of what the AIs or the APIs are looking for. And then it gives you like a definition and some related topics, and you kind of drop that in there. This is not really helpful, uh, like to how to add it, but more so is just kind of look at what do you think I'm supposed to be doing with this. And then as you go along, you drop some more keywords inside of your content, and then eventually it picks it up as, oh, okay, now you covered it. As you see, I had to copy paste Arizona into the sentences, right? So keep doing that, and as you go you'll get this up. The last one that I did was the SEO expert page. Where is it? There you go. And you see I got it up to 90. I was working on the Gilbert SEO page for my content because as you guys all remember, I have a template, right? But I wanted to edit that template for each city as well. So I need to take into account that the rules are different for each city. So that's what I will start doing, and I was only doing that for my pages that aren't ranking. And Gilbert actually dropped into to 5 when I was in the middle of this, so I kind of stopped at 81%. Where SEO expert, I need it as high as I can, so I got it up at 90. And the Phoenix SEO page, again, this is another one that I'm going to have to redo, go through the entire writing process again, just to edit it, make it all better, and get that up to 90 as well, because the competition is so high in this. Um, but you can just kind of know when to stop based off of your knowledge base, and the competition in your market, etc. And I'm doing pretty damn good just ranking off of this writing process. So let me show you ranking results, so that, and maybe I should have showed you this so you'd pay a little bit more attention. But um, if you didn't, you see this now and you'd actually go back and watch it again. And more importantly than just paying attention, guys, please start implementing some of this stuff. I mean, seriously. I see, you know, I run SIA, so I pay for, or people pay for the information in there, and people pay or watch us on SEO Fight Club, or they watch me here, and they're always asking the same questions over and over and over again. It's all stuff we've already talked about, and giving you the roadmap to how to be successful with this stuff. And if you're not applying that, then you only have yourself to blame. It's just, for us as content providers, it's just kind of like, I get to hear the sound of my own voice when I sing in the shower. I don't want to have to do it on YouTube, and I'm doing this for you guys. All right, obviously, I get some branding, and I get that other attention and stuff, and then you guys maybe like me, and like me, and trust me, and you'll buy my courses and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm just giving you free information to help you. And if you're not using it, then you're kind of an idiot, and you probably shouldn't be doing SEO, much less running a business. So, um, I don't know how to get any more clear on that. Here's the ranking results from ranking for the Arizona pages, and let me. I used to have this sorted, but you see Prescott. This is bouncing. This is within the error of the tool. Third as Arizona's. This one kind of dropped. I'm playing with this one as an SEO page. I'm ranking it, trying to rank it for web design. Um, Yuma, there's absolutely zero competition out here. So Tempe, number one, Glendale, here's Gilbert. So you see that this stuff is working, and there's schema on here driving most of these rankings. Schema and the template. And I haven't even done link building to most of these pages yet. And it's just the on page. So now my writing process, I'll go through Tucson, I'll do Phoenix, and I'll do Scottsdale, and probably Mesa, and get those up there. And then I'm done with the city SEO pages. And it's kind of just how this whole process rolls. The other one that I did is this one here. You can see it's kind of going in and out, but it dropped. It started right here at 14 after I got done with the writing process, 14, 14, and now it's 16, which is in the scope of error of the ranking tool. Here's another one, just writing only. First came in 13. Boom, right into 13. There's no schema on here. I don't even have images or a buy button on on this page yet, and it's not there. And then the keyword research services, 33, 44, 32. But it came in at 31, and now it's 32. So, it came in 31, jumped up, and then went down some more. This one came in at 36, and now it's at 42. No schema, no images, no buy buttons, none of that optimization stuff yet. So when I add all that stuff, it's going to do really good. So if you can get these without backlinks and without outreach and without doing whatever the next famous guy says, without, I can rank without link building. Well, pretty much anyone can for a stupid long tail keyword or zero competition keyword. But there's other SEOs trying to rank for this stuff, and I'm doing it with just content. right now, just content and schema. So if you can do that, it makes your link building budget a whole lot less painful to deal with. So, alrighty. Whew. Hopefully that helped you guys out. Hopefully you guys implement that. Test out the different tools. The first stack that I started with was Phrase to Surfer SEO. The UI at Surfer was actually a lot more user friendly from a copy paste perspective, but beyond that, I just I preferred Cognitive, and I preferred the way Cognitive allowed me to look at everything in aggregate. And this is what we how we came up with the score versus Surfer, where you kind of you had to pick your competition, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I want to go in aggregate because the algorithm is an aggregate, so I did that. So I skipped and I went from Surfer. I actually did Phrase Surfer to Cognitive, and chase the scores down that way, and then I went from Phrase to Cognitive and is actually doing pretty good. And then Phrase Cognitive now in links. I don't know that I'm going to keep in links on there. I'm not using in links for the schema because the schema is still a work in progress. And then I don't use it for the internal link building because the internal link building is JavaScript. And as soon as you cancel your in links, they shut off your JavaScript and now your internal links are gone. Great for people who are doing client SEO stuff, I guess, but not so much if it's your own personal website. So, but and then as I understand it, Page Optimizer Pro, they're coming out where they have a content editor as well, and I can honestly say I've never even tried it, never gave it a thought. So um, there's more tools coming out there. There's more AI stuff coming out there. Just look at the tool set, use that writing process I just showed you, and apply it to the tool set that you're using, and you're going to be just fine with content optimization. And then Grammarly is going to make you sound smart, and it's going to make sure that your message is actually clear with the AI stuff that they've implemented, and you're going to be off to the races. And you'll be able to write about any topic you want to, regardless. So, if you need help creating content, you can actually do what I told you with the paste with the content briefs. It handles off to writers, or you can get Mentorprise. I got plenty of videos with the YouTube description, my affiliate link for Mentorprise. You go in there, pump it out, and it'll spit out as many articles as you want to. Set it up to make sure it's like the most unique, or not unique, most readable content ever. And then now you have this base piece of article written about a topic that you can pop into it, you can pop into it and do some pretty good things with the content that comes out of Enterprise. And I know people that are using that not only for the link building stuff, but handing brief for the temp for their writers. So you create a brief in a Quora Phrase Cognitive. You create a writer's brief or and now in links. Go into Mentorprise, get a piece of content from Mentorprise, drop that on an HTML page or a wherever you want a backlink page, and then there's your content already spit out for your link building stuff too. So there's plenty of uses for these tools beyond just writing content. So that'd be good. Let's see, Phrase to pot the Quillbot has been pretty good too. Yeah, Quillbot is actually a decent tool. I like that. Let's see, Kyle on Facebook is doing cognitive to pop. That's pretty interesting. Phrase looks great too. What I would like to do is kind of and not set up a competition, but a an SEO test with you guys. If you're interested, hit me up, and we probably need as many people as possible. So, like Kyle's doing cognitive to pop, Everhard's doing Phrase to pop to Quillbot. I'm doing Phrase to cognitive to inlinks. Um, and I'm sure there's some more of you that are doing the like. And maybe you can even reach out to Michael over at Surfer and see if he's interested. And then just pick a keyword, low competition, no search volume. Really, we just want to see Um, Based off of our application of the tool, which piece of content, which content editor works better. So cognitive versus Frave versus Pop versus Surfer versus Inlinks. And if when we know which one works better uh, for the normal user, and we'll just say whatever tool you're using, you got to get the score up to 90 or higher. Um, if we know that the scores are 90 or higher across all of them, and let's say cognitive wins all of them, then what is number two and number three? And then can we match number two and number three to make cognitive the power, the ranking boost that we're getting from cognitive better? You know what I mean? So keeping that up would actually be super, I think, for the community and kind of be a kick-ass test. I think that'd be awesome. But I just got to get people to do it. I'm trying to do it with my city SEO pages, but it's Digitaleer, and I'm trying to actually get clients, right? So I need these for ranking proofs because eventually over the top SEO is going to be sold to somebody else. And the SEO that hasn't been wrecked on it already is still kind of powerful. So we'll see. And I'll lose those ranking proofs. So I need to get Digitaleer there so I have at least a new portfolio going on. But maybe I'll use the my blog, or you guys will reach out to me and we'll pick a nice keyword and set up a tools test. I think it'll be awesome. Anyone else have any more questions? I know we've been here. I've been here like an hour now, so not in a rush to leave. If you guys have questions, going once. I'll wait for the delay in typing time. In the meantime, drink my coffee. Okay, no questions. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. If you can and you're on the YouTubes, hit the like button, the bell, subscribe, or the dislike. Hey, engagement is engagement, right? I'd appreciate that. Those of you that are chatting finally with me on Facebooks, welcome to the show. And if you're on Periscope, don't be shy. Maybe I'll figure out how to engage with you guys a whole lot better. But we'll see you all next week. This has been SEO This Week, episode 180.